We have armed protester was deleted. Democrats threaten to shut down the government once again. And Trump is sending an armada to the Middle East. Wild weekend, a lot of news to cover. Folks, it's good seeing you. Thank you for choosing the Bald Brad Show to get your news, because we got a lot of stuff to break down this fine morning with all of you. And as I mentioned, a lot of unrest happening in Minnesota. Not only do you have the fraud that's taking place, but you also have the left acting amok and being chaotic and putting themselves in situations in which maybe you probably shouldn't put yourself in, which we talk about all the time. We're going to break down the video and the story. I'm sure many of you have seen it. We got to be careful with the video a little bit. So we might not actually pull it up, but just talk about it really briefly. Many people have seen the video of the individual because that's what was going viral for the last few days. And it's always easy to look at video in slow motion and decide what was right and what was wrong. And I'm going to tell you how that correlates to me and what I used to do as a profession, where, it's always easy when you have multiple angles and multiple opportunities. You get to slow it down and nitpick and all that other stuff. Well, it always ain't that easy in real life. So that leads me to our lead story of the day, where we have a Border Patrol fatally armed man in Minneapolis. Well, they deleted him. Border Patrol shot and killed an armed protester in Minneapolis over the weekend, setting off more protests because people are stupid. The deceased has been identified as a 37-year-old. The guy's like few months older than me. A nurse who officials say was armed while he was interacting with law enforcement. He had magazines with ammo on him. Border Patrol agents said they were trying to conduct an operation to detain an illegal immigrant with a violent criminal history. Yeah, well, the left loves protesting criminals and also obviously loves committing violence. So when you can put those two together, it's like two peas in a pod for them. When the situation with the individual took place. Now, according to the video, the individual seemed to insert himself in the situation, of course, while Border Patrol dealt with an agitator. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described the incident as an avoidable tragedy. Yes, correct. How many times for years have I said, if you were never there, what is the probability of something terrible happening to you with law enforcement there? Zero. But people just love putting themselves in dumb situations, and it blows my mind. And what's odd to me, I've seen this on TikTok. I've seen this being portrayed by the left all freaking weekend. Well, does that mean he deserved to die? No, it doesn't. It's merely an objectable truth that if you were never there, this would have never happened. You don't need to be there. And I would also like to raise the question, what are you doing engaging yourself with law enforcement and acting like that, resisting arrest with a firearm? Well, he was legally allowed to carry. More reason not to do it. Are you stupid? Do you know what I mean? Are you out of your damn mind? Resisting arrest with a firearm attached to you? Are you stupid? Then, who knows? Allegedly, I watched some videos on this. The firearm that the individual had has been known to go off on its own. So, let's pull up the video really quick. Might as well do it. Let me get the angle from the lady here. Let me see. I want to, this is all right. So I'm going to mute it. If you guys are okay with the blowing of the whistle and stuff, let me go a little low then on it. I'll turn down the volume. We'll do that. Here we go. So he's going to inject himself.
People, the fuck is wrong with you? Honestly.
See that lady's reaction? We're all sitting here thinking, okay, yeah, this is all a possibility unraveling. It's a tragedy. The guy lost his life because he put himself in a situation that could lead to this where we don't know what happened. I want to point out, just so you know, nobody in the chat knows what happened. I don't know what happened. Nobody does, other than maybe one or two guys. And some of these guys don't even know what happened, law enforcement. Nobody does, because the video's a potato. What did you just do? Now, nobody knows what they just did, really, because we just heard rounds go off. One of the law enforcement officers takes the firearm out of his waistband, out of the holster, okay, and walks away. I don't know if the first round that rung off is from this guy here or it was from the actual guy's concealed carry firearm, because that will trigger really easily. Let me see if I could also find that for you of how easily that can go off, allegedly. And this is why you don't play around. So here it is. YouTube, just so you know, this is for educational purposes. Supposedly, this was this guy's firearm. Watch how easy this goes off.
Some input into the slide somewhere. Will it go off again? Will it release? Let's see. That's 3 in a row. Let me take the screw out.
So, yeah, I'm just going to play that again. He just squeezes it.
Let's see.
Now, he has a screw in here. I don't know if that's what the other guy had trying to use it. I don't know. But I've heard this style of firearm does have a known history of setting off without pulling. So there's that. Now, the guy was reaching for something. We have that here, right? And this is now the famous photo of, looks like a street execution, which maybe it was. We don't know. But he clearly has something in his hand. And by the way, should have not resisted arrest, should have put your hands behind your back. You were violating the law by disrupting looked like what was being made as an arrest. Now, this, I believe, is AI, or somebody somehow got a really good photo of this, but clearly has something in his hand. And it looks like mace to me. That's what that looks like. But I don't know. And that's the problem, is nobody really knew. And so what happened? The guy got deleted. And why, Brad, why are you using that word? Because YouTube, TikTok, and all these other outlets have different rules in terms of what the hell you can and can't say. So it's all easy to go back and put video in 0.25 and analyze it. Who had the gun, who didn't, who put off the first shot, and watch it 20 times. And then you have the balls to go, oh, well, these guys are out of control. They don't know what they're doing. Totally untrained. They're just out here. They wanted to do this. I'm going to give you a rough analogy here on what I deal with or dealt with. When I was reffing ice hockey, that happens fast. That game is an extremely, extremely fast game. And when you miss a call, or let's say you even get the call right, it doesn't matter, actually. Nobody other than you really knows what's going on. Not even your own crew that you're working on the ice with knows what the hell's going on. And it's always easy to see it on, ESPN or Sportsnet after the fact in freaking slow motion, where now you're looking at pixels and going, how did that guy not get that right? And then you're looking at the different camera angles, the 20 camera angles in the building that individual didn't have the opportunity to see, meaning the referee. And you're going to judge that guy? In the same way here, you know how fast this is happening? your adrenaline's rushing. If it doesn't happen numerous amount of times, you don't go through the training a bunch of times, mistakes are going to be made. You're not going to think fully rational. You only have a split-second decision to make, or else your life is ended. But as you've seen, a lot of people don't think that way. It's always easy for us to sit behind a camera and a microphone, or hell, at home on your screen. Oh, what a bunch of idiots. Maybe they were a bunch of idiots. You want to know something? So was this guy. I'll give you that. So was this guy. Oh, he was a nurse. Yeah, it's nice. Shouldn't have been doing this. Awful. You lost your life because you decided to do something really, 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 really stupid. And let's say the guy that pulled the trigger and deleted him is at fault. Guess what? He's an idiot too then. I mean, it's that easy. Yeah, I love how the lady's all horrified. Oh my God, oh my God. It's like, isn't that always a possibility? That when you go out and you're not peacefully protesting like they did with Martin Luther King, you're out there acting amok. You're throwing stuff at law enforcement. I'm surprised all this stuff doesn't happen more. I'm surprised there isn't firefights happening all the time with these psycho lefties out here. So I don't know what's in his hand. Again, I don't know how somebody got that clear image of that guy. I think somebody took it and got AI is what my guess is. I'm going to show you them. I think this is AI in my opinion. I could be wrong. But, you know, it doesn't. And by the way, it doesn't matter if people go, oh, that's a phone in his hand. That's mace in his hand. It doesn't matter what's in his hand. Law enforcement doesn't know what's in his hand. And if you're resisting arrest, you should know not to do that. And by the way, if you're a concealed carry, if you're actually concealed carry, you probably usually know how to abide by the law. So that guy was not doing what he's supposed to be doing, but it's law enforcement's fault. It's not that guy's fault. So we had that video there for you. What do you guys think about this? Who's at fault here? Let's what do people think is going to happen when you threaten law enforcement? Correct. Not sure I got his age right. Why is this not happening anywhere else but Minnesota? Makes you go, I think a lot of these people are brought in, is my opinion. I think it's very, very likely a lot of these people are brought in. I haven't thought about this much, so this can come off very ignorant, just to let you know. I think it should be illegal to pay people off to protest. I think it should be illegal to be able to cover your face, because technically you're actively engaging in a criminal activity because you're not peacefully protesting. You're out there, causing chaos. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I didn't vote Democrat. Never go to protest with a pew pew. Yeah. Yeah. It makes you a target. Absolutely. What I mean, everybody knows, even if you're concealed carry and you got pulled over, right? Your hands are 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. The first thing you say to that officer if he pulls you over is, sir, I have a concealed carry. It's in my waistband on the front left-hand side. I'm not going to remove my hands unless you tell me to do so. What would you like me to do with the firearm? You know, you're just going through that so that they feel safe, like safe. You wouldn't go inject yourself into like an altercation with the firearm. My mind is blown. My mind is blown. But there's no point in talking to the left about any of this, you guys, by the way. There's zero. You're wasting your time. You can't get that time back in your life. Maybe you enjoy arguing with the left. Maybe you enjoy going out there. I don't. I would rather spend my time doing something fun that I enjoy, because there's no rational thought with these people. And even if there was a rational thought, let's say they're correct that this guy was executed, there is still no blame to be had on that guy. Zero. There's no variable. There's no metric. in terms of which that guy put himself in a bad situation, concealing carry, obstructing law enforcement, putting his hands on law enforcement, resisting arrest, or at least being detained. Not all that. No, he's allowed to do that. Are you crazy? Oh, no, he's allowed to do that according to the left. The guy put himself in a great situation. How many people would you pack a gun and show a cop? CG says, I support ICE to the fullest, but they shot a man that just unarmed who was bent over and had his back to them because the agent that ran away with the gun went off and then the shots rang out. Well, that's what we think happened. We don't know for sure if that's what happened. As far as I'm aware, I don't know. I don't know the investigation. That's the thing, is we're assuming that's what took place. Now, there's probably aspects of that is true, but we don't know. And this is the thing, right? Is you're going, well, the guy was unarmed. You saw the video after the fact. Put yourself in that situation that you're the guy that's there and maybe you have a wife and kids and you want to try to figure out if that was a gun or not. Like I said, it's always easy after the fact. Very easy to look at the video and go, oh, yeah, something else. By the way, I'm not picking you apart. I'm just, it's frustrating because it's always the scenario, whether you look at body cam footage or somebody's potato cell phone footage, it's like, it's always easy later. It doesn't matter if it appears to be in the moment you respect, bleep, happens in the if around, find out. I am always carrying the man who died. Agreed, he shouldn't have been there messing with ICE, but he wasn't trying to save that woman. He didn't threaten anyone as fast as I could tell. Did you get as much snow? Okay, my daughter knows something in Minnesota. All right, well, we're moving on here. Okay, so that happened to that guy. Note to self, don't put yourself in between law enforcement when you conceal and carry with a firearm. The idea that they took his firearm away, how do you know there's not another one? How do you know what's in that guy's hand? That's my question. How do you, what was he doing? What was he doing? Because if we're going to say, oh, well, he executed the guy, he was unarmed. How do you know that? Well, in the chat, how do you guys know he was unarmed? You're in the moment, right? You're the guys standing there trying to arrest the guy. How do you know he's unarmed? Go. I want to see what the people say in the chat. Yeah, I'm a little fired up over this one. How do you know that he's unarmed? Because I'll tell you what, there's not a single soul in this chat that knew that he was or was not unarmed. Not a single soul. Hadn't been patted down yet. Nobody knew. Yeah, exactly. He could have had another gun. That is a possibility. Correct. Gee, could it possibly be maybe the fact in a split-second decision because the guy didn't want to allow himself to be detained, meaning have the handcuffs on for a short period of time, maybe let go actually, that thing in his right hand could have been mistaken as a gun, or that the communication of the guy saying gun and that was associated with what was maybe in his hand or could have been in his hand, or somebody could have saw something that looked like a firearm or mistaken it for a firearm, led to the guy being deleted. Hence why you don't put yourself in those situations, because when things happening fast, guess what? A lot of things get miscommunicated because it's happened fast. It's not rocket science. No, none of it's rocket science. For me, it's not difficult. It really isn't difficult. It's terrible. The guy lost his life. Do you want to know why I don't? I've always said this. I've always said it. Do you want to know why I don't go down there and do those on the street interviews? Whether it's what James Klug does or Ami Horowitz, doesn't matter, or Cam Higbee or Nick Shirley. Do you want to know why I don't do any of that? Could I do that? Absolutely. Have I talked to people about doing it? Absolutely. Anybody want to guess in the chat why I don't do that? Because I don't even want to give the possibility of me being deleted. That's it. That's all it is. I don't want to go down there for interviews. I don't want to go down there to wave the Trump flag with the rest of the Trump supporters, because as I've always said, what's stopping somebody from coming by and mowing all of us over with a firearm really quickly and taking off? I don't even want to be a part of that. Exactly, Craig. Exactly. Exactly, Michelle. Everybody gets it. I don't want to put myself in situations that are going to lead to a greater possibility or likelihood of me being deleted. Now, should I be deleted for going over there? Of course not. But don't even want to give the possibility. And by the way, that's just me walking around. I wouldn't even be saying anything. If I started resisting arrest with law enforcement, I fully am aware that my likelihood of being shot, deleted, severely hurt is extremely high. But it shouldn't be that way, Brad. They're there to protect and serve. Yeah, they're also there to go see their family at the end of the day. So we got that. All righty, well, moving on. You also have the government shutdown. So this attaches to both of that. So here we go again. Fatal shooting could spark government shutdown. The deadly encounter between federal immigration agents and the Minneapolis man has ignited a fierce debate among political leaders that could impact all Americans. This incident is having a ripple effect across Washington, with one of the most significant reactions coming from Senate Democrats. They now say they will no longer support a budget deal that the House had already passed because it includes funding for the Department of Homeland Security. So here we are again. Oh. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said in a statement released Saturday that Senate Democrats will not provide the votes to proceed to the appropriations bill if the DHS funding bill is included. That's a big problem when you see a lot of emotional politics coming from Democrats. That party, for some ungodly reason, runs a lot off emotion. And the famous example is what we're dealing with here. When everything happens, it's reactionary lawmaking. I suppose a lot of lawmaking might be reactionary, but the point I'm trying to make here is, let's say, a guy goes and shoots up, a school or a library or, I don't know, a flea market or something stupid. The guy was evil. What's the first thing they do? Oh, we got to go after people's Second Amendment rights. We got to put forth some common sense gun reform is what they always tell us. Common sense. Okay. So I'm the one that gets screwed, the law-abiding citizen, not the guy that did something evil, heinous, and all that other stuff. Gotcha. That's the famous one. It's always reactionary. It's based off emotion. And Democrats will not provide the votes to proceed to the appropriations bill if the DHS funding bill is included. Polymarket is now putting the odds of the government shutdown at 80%. Shut it down. Mind you, I don't work for the government, so it's easy for me to say, but shut it down. No, it's not like they have their bleep together anyways. You know what I mean? We're $37 trillion in debt, folks. Shut it down. That's fine. Whatever. It's Chuck Schumer's the one that's going to do it, right? So he's the one that's going to get the blame. Yeah, shut down again, Chuck. That's good. The Schumer shutdown happened before, it happened again. It's a scary thing when you start becoming numb to government shutdowns. It's a very scary thing. I've heard, I don't know if this is true, by the way. Maybe people in Minneapolis will be able to clarify this. I've heard that Minneapolis, Minnesota, some local areas are like fully shutting down. And it has nothing to do with this government shutdown. I've heard that businesses are fed up. They're not going to work. People, like, they're shutting down the schools. Matter of fact, let me see if I can confirm this really quick. Because that was the rumor that I was hearing. Let me see. Sorry if you can hear my typing in the mic. Let's see. And we'll have more video to show you guys. Here it says this. I don't know if this is true, but it says Minneapolis public schools just canceled all in-person classes due to leftist protests and riots, switching to virtual learning until February 12th. Too dangerous for kids to even go to school because of radical anarchist mobs. Yeah, but it's also like really cold there too, isn't it? I don't know if that's really due to that or it's like, because it's so cold and chilly. It is really cold right now. So not sure because, yeah, it's -15 air temperature and feels like it's -32. That could also be, and people are just associating it with what took place over there. So you have most likely a government shutdown ahead of us once again. Now, the other news here is Trump's massive armada reaches Middle East. So here we go. I mean, Trump is he's bringing in the big boys. President Donald Trump says he has dispatched a fleet of warships to Iran as the death toll in the country continues to climb amid anti-government protests. The armada Trump spoke of is the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group, which was last stationed in the South China Sea and reportedly reached the Middle East on Sunday. The strike group includes the Lincoln aircraft carrier, as well as 3 guided missile destroyers. The Lincoln itself is carrying 5 fighter squadrons, and more cargo jets and aerial refueling tankers have also deployed to the region. Holy crap. The military hardware has surged into the area as questions swirl over Trump's response to Tehran, violating his red line with the mass slaughter of protesters. Various estimates have put the current death toll anywhere from a few thousand to tens of thousands. By the way, that's a huge margin of error, just to let you know. Like you say a number, well, then the error is pretty massive. I mean, that's a huge interval. That is a massive interval. I've heard rumors that the United Kingdom has also sent over some fighter jets as well to the region. Now, maybe a precaution. I don't know what you're going to strike that would stop this, by the way. The reason why I say this is because if you're going to delete, let's say, anywhere from a few thousand to tens of thousands, okay, you blow up an ammo depot. You think a psycho that's willing to delete tens of thousands of people in the streets cares that you're going to blow up an ammo depot? Don't think so. Now, maybe he's going to go after government officials or military people or, the supreme leader. I don't know. And by the way, just because you take him out doesn't mean somebody else isn't going to fill his void. We all know how that one works. Whenever you puppet up somebody else, it doesn't exactly always work. Maybe it will this time. I don't know. But history has told us many, 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 many times that things don't really change all that much. So we will see. We'll keep you updated if something happens. But if you're moving a massive fleet over there, you better pucker up over there, Supreme Leader, because that is a lot of firepower. Speaking of firepower, I'm going to beat up Trump for a second. I don't like this. Let me see if I can find it. This really, really frustrates me. Let me see if I can find this for you. Trump was talking about the weapon that was utilized in the Maduro raid. I really, really don't like this. And I've always been this way. On January 3rd, about 20 U.S. troops and 8 helicopters captured Nicolas Maduro, which we all know, and his wife. Using Trump's nickname, discombobulator, to disable radar, rockets, and defenses without firing a shot, Maduro faces narco-terrorism charges in Brooklyn, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that Trump is talking about some secret weaponry that we have. I don't like when the media does it. I don't like when a military individual does it, and I don't like it when Trump does it. And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say this, but when we have secret weaponry, shut your mouth. I know it sounds very rude. Shut your mouth, please. I don't even want you saying this. Where did this all stem from? There was I don't know if it was an article or an X post or what, that was allegedly not a statement, but it was a security individual, military person from the Venezuelan side, a soldier or security personnel over there that was discussing what happened when the Americans got there. And the guy said there was some sort of weaponry that was utilized against them that caused them to throw up. They couldn't think, their head hurt, and they're throwing up blood. Like, it was everybody that was doing it. And he's saying that they never seen technology like it. They were also, it was like, the movie 300 basically, but modern warfare. where there was hundreds of their guys and there was only a few of us, and it was like they were taking out everybody, firing like one guy was firing like 300 rounds a minute or something. I'm not sure. But I don't like that the president of the United States is talking about weaponry, saying discombobulator. China is very good at stealing our technology. And now they have something to look for. Somebody might, there's the possibility they already knew about it. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, dude, just shut up and not talk about this stuff. For example, I don't even like when they unveil our aircraft. I don't care if it's been around. They'll go, oh, well, we're showing it now because it's kind of outdated. It's been around. Yeah, outdated for us, not outdated to China or all these other countries. You know what I mean? It's like, just shut your mouth. God, it really, that stuff frustrates me. It's like a pet peeve of mine. When it's like, dude, that's something secretive. It's there to protect us. And oh, yeah, great. Let's let everybody know we have it. That's always fun. So they know what to look for. They know what to steal. Man, it really drives me up a wall, dude. So that's in my opinion, that's a big blunder by the president. Please don't talk about it. In the same way, let's say, I'm a big conspiracy theorist type of guy. Not that I believe in them. I just like the adventure of them. And when I'm talking about conspiracy theories, I'm talking like Bigfoot or like UFOs, aliens, stuff like that. You all know I love that type of stuff. The paranormal stuff too. Doesn't mean I believe in it. I just like to hear about it. Let's say that the UFO stuff is actually our technology. Good. Keep your mouth shut about it. There you go. That's simple. Yep, it's ours. Cool. Yeah, we can basically go from 90,000 feet to like 1 foot in a matter of like half a second. Cool. Not going to talk about it. That's fine. I mean, it's going to come out at some point in the future. Or maybe it's not ours. Maybe it's somebody else. But Mr. President, please don't talk about it anymore. We have this here. I want to give you the updates in terms of the massive armada heading towards Iran. If I can get to it. 1 second. So this is the latest update. No, latest update was 19 hours ago. So it has been a while. It looks like Iranian regime unveils blood-spattered mural of U.S. aircraft carriers. So this is, I guess this is what's being released right now. The mural shows blood flowing from the ship into the sea. Yeah, right here. So here's the aircraft carrier. Really poorly done, by the way, whoever. I mean, this looks like AI. And then you have the stars and a bunch of... So it's supposed to look like the American flag. Aircraft carrier, right? Here's where all the command is. And then blown up stuff. Here's some aircraft on it. And then there's the streaks of blood. Yeesh. Alrighty. So let's see what else we have here in the news for all of you. Well, hopefully you all had a really great weekend. Aside from all these people acting crazy. We got Tim Walz here. But he's not looking healthy, dude. I mean, well, he hasn't looked healthy for quite some time, right? He's clearly obese. And there, you can look like, I'm technically considered obese for my weight class, just to let you know. So you look at me like, Brad, you don't look like you're obese. Technically, I mean, I don't look obese. I just look like an athletic build. But for my weight, according to the medical doctors, I am obese. Walz here, but he looks sickly now. He's lost a lot of weight. I don't know if it's stress or he's on Ozempic or what. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz on Sunday compared federal immigration officers to Nazis. It really does get tiresome. It's like you want to hit your head against the wall. Because everything's a Nazi nowadays, right? Everybody's Hitler. Everybody's a fascist. As if there's not other evil dictators throughout history. You know? Like there's no one else you can call. Like Mao deleted way more people than Hitler did. By the way, I hate Hitler. I hate him. Evil scumbag. I'm just saying there's also other people you can use too. Like, sure, throw Hitler and Nazi stuff in the mix every now and then. Totally get it. What about Mao? What about like Pol Pot, like all these other people? There's like a litany of people to choose from that were just as evil and sometimes more evil than Hitler and the Nazis. Do you know what I mean? Fair game to use them. It's just you don't want to use it so much where it diminishes the atrocities that they've committed. That's all I'm saying. The failed Democrat who wrote this? Oh, Tim Pierce. Yeah, he's a known writer for the Daily Wire. I love that guy. Okay, so a failed Democratic vice president candidate said during a press conference that the immigration operations in Minnesota evoked the tale of Anne Frank, a Jewish girl who hid from the Nazi regime in an attic for over 2 years before dying in a concentration camp. Quote, "We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside." Well, doesn't that kind of explain more of a parental problem? That the parents might be feeding the children a bunch of nonsense. And by the way, if your children is watching this news, that's not exactly something maybe they should be watching. Just pointing that out. Miss Mom, I know what you're talking about. 10 months of memberships. Have you seen Cam's Signalgate info, Brad? I have. We'll make sure we cover that in a moment. I have. Yeah. We still got some time. It's going to be kind of the thing I'm going to end off on. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody is going to write that children's story about Minnesota. Dude, why would you say something like that? Walt's comments came after a Customs and Border Patrol agent shot and deleted the 37-year-old. So you got there. So now Border Patrol's Nazis, right? But remember, you're supposed to take down the rhetoric. Remember. Does anybody else find it fascinating that the left gets more outraged when ICE, what appears to be accidentally, deletes an individual? But they don't get upset when ICE, or they get upset. Let me get this right. Jesus, Brad, what am I doing? They get upset when ICE deletes an individual, maybe rightfully so. Where's the outrage for all the women and men, by the way, that were deleted by illegal immigrants? Where's the outrage there? Does nobody find that odd and weird? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you not taking the streets at illegal immigrants that were never supposed to be here in the first place? Delete some young woman. Like, gee, I don't know, maybe all of these girls. I don't know where all the rage was at there. It's always odd. Celebrity ICE protests spark backlash over immigrant crime victims. So, I don't know if her first name's Olivia, but Wild urged support to delegitimize ICE after federal agents deleted Renee Good, a mother and school board member, and Alex Preddy, that's the gentleman from this weekend that was unfortunately tragically got deleted, an ICU nurse during immigration operations on January 7th. You know what's weird? They keep like throwing in the ICU nurse, but they don't put anything in terms of what Renee Good ever did. Do you see how it's like very selective? Because when you see ICU nurse, right, you're thinking, okay, the guy's logical, smart guy, worked in the ICU, saved lives, you know, veterans' lives too. They keep pushing that because it's supposed to pull at your emotions. That's what it's supposed to do. That's all it's there for. This right here, the ICU nurse thing doesn't actually add anything to the story. Neither does the guy's name. Really, his age isn't really all that much. You had an individual that was acting amok, concealing, carrying a firearm, and then puts himself in between police and an individual that they're trying to apprehend, it looked like. And then fought with police, not like fist fighting, it looked like, but just, you know, not complying, which is crazy with the freaking concealed carry. It's mind blowing, actually. And then got deleted. Protests erupted and clashes. So if you notice, here we go. Just going to ask, did anybody see a protest for any one of these people by the left? Anybody upset on the left-hand side of the aisle about any one of these people? This person executed, all of them executed. Yeah. Raped, some of them. Mm-hmm. By the way, none of these people had firearms either. Weird. And Tim Pool has it right here. Deaths from ICE versus death from illegal immigrants per year. There is one right there. You can actually see the sliver. Now, you'd hope this would be zero. And you have to think, how many times does ICE actually engage people? It's remarkable that it's actually just one. Maybe two. Two now, I guess. Pretty remarkable. But End Wokeness has it right. Innocent lives taken by illegal immigrants. Zero protests for them. Yeah. Yep. It's always zero. Here's the thing from Cam Higbee. So this is what was mentioned in the chat. I have it down here. Right here. So the first thing I want to point out is Cam Higbee posted a training manual for domestic terrorist patrols chasing ICE agents in Minneapolis. And it wasn't just chasing him and ICE agents. Also, they were chasing James O'Keefe that we have right here. So I'm actually going to give you guys the link to my X page because I retweet a lot of this stuff. But they were following James O'Keefe's team and they were undercover. And one of the team members got a text message that said, hey, we know you guys are here. We know your license plate, the car. And they actually put the license plate number of the car that they were in. And basically said, you have an hour to leave or you're going to get deleted. So this is, you know what this reminds me of? If you ever have the opportunity to read Andy Ngo's book, Andy Ngo, I think his Ngo is NGO is the last name. He's the journalist that was attacked by Antifa. He infiltrated Antifa. He wrote a book called Unmasked. Unmasked, like you're taking a mask off. And phenomenal read. Gives you behind the scenes of how these psychos work and all that other stuff. This was back when they had Chaz and Chop. It's called Unmasked. You could read it in a day. Fabulous book. Gets you on the inside and you could really see what goes on. You got to love here too. What you're looking at on your screen is the new autonomous zone, which I talked about in my book as well. Trojan Horse, how the left is destroying America. You're seeing it in real time. It's so funny. The first thing they put up is walls, like a barrier, right? But we were told none of this stuff worked. Yeah. But what's interesting is you can't come into the autonomous zone. The lack of like irony in all these people is really mind blown, just bewildering. Actually, let me go back to Cam's page real quick because I know you guys wanted to see the signal. So here he says Minneapolis signal infiltrated. He says, I have infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Buckle up, all will be revealed. That's crazy. And I saw this over the weekend. It wasn't just this. He had other postings. Let me see if I could find it as well. No, he was actually in a call that I was watching over the weekend. Let's see. Moss, Adam of RR Signal Group did not like me questioning Flan. I want to find the video here of him.
Had another.
Here we go. This is one.
Obviously, this is a somber day. We had another ICE documenter responder murdered yesterday in Minneapolis. We are grappling.
So what this is he's infiltrating these groups. I believe it's him. Here we go. This is the one I wanted to show you. So it says here, here's more dispatch chatter where they tweak out when they discover a vehicle. Whistles and horns can be heard in the background. The dispatcher asks for photos and videos of the plate for documentation purposes. Folks, this isn't like 911. This isn't law enforcement. This is them doing this, meaning Antifa, the left is trying to find ICE license plates.
The person that just asked for a plate check a minute ago that said 218AF.
Yeah, it's a white Chevy truck, pickup truck.
Thank you. If you can get documentation, video, or photos of that plate on that car, we can document. Thank you.
All right, yep, getting that for you.
Update on the corner of 32nd and
sticker.
Update on the corner of 32nd and 15th. It's Kia, Massachusetts. Folks are whistling at this.
I want to read the message here at the top. It says plates general chatter unvetted, defrost updates once an hour. At least that's what the message came in.
It looks like this is a confirmed ICE vehicle. The men inside appear to be ICE, according to the people who are up there. The window, they have gators. The person that just asked for a plate check a minute ago that said...
Karen says Cam thinks law enforcement is helping the group Cam uncovered, like getting vehicle info. Maybe. But usually, I think if it's a government vehicle, it has to be, it's something that you can look up, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. So Cam is it doesn't surprise me this is happening. Doesn't surprise me at all. He also said this, I'll show you guys this one. I told you guys last night that Tim Walt's National Guard were present to aid and protect the insurrection. Looks like handing out pizza slices to protesters or something. But that's all alleged. Oh, it's Dunkin'. It's not pizza. It was donuts. But I did see a sheriff's vehicle there, so maybe they're just giving them to law enforcement. I don't know. A little odd. I don't know why they haven't imposed the Insurrection Act. That is a very, very great question. Miss Mom just sent me this 4 minutes ago. We'll take a peek at this. Here we go. See, I do read posts. I get notifications. Breaking Signalgate donors list available for download. Politicians and foreign leadership confirmed. If one of the files revealed by Cam Higbee, a resource file, directs people with money to a website, Stand With Minnesota, which it turns direct donors to a campaign ran by Tending the Soil on Chuffed? I don't know. More about Tending the Soil later. What to know. The campaign is hosted by Schuff. Is that how you say it? Chuffed. And the first donation came through here. So yeah, starting to look like foreigners are playing a key role in all of this. Introduction. This is a simple embedded style link of resources cleared for widespread use. Safety tip: when joining unvetted signal chats, it's highly recommended to use a pseudonym and be careful about the information you share. If you wouldn't want it read back to you in a chat room or put on a screenshot, don't put it in an unvetted chat. Save it for a vetted space, or even better, a DM. Interesting. So Minnesota is under occupation by federal agents from ICE and CBP, and we need your support. Yeah, I think you guys are under occupation by illegals, is what I'm seeing. Yeah, and a bunch of smallies committing fraud. That's what I also see, too. Could be wrong, and happy to be wrong. I hope I am wrong. I don't want fraud to be happening. I don't want illegals running everywhere. I want American citizens to be able to thrive. Across Minnesota, ICE continues to stop, harass, and detain people regardless of their citizenship status. Normal life in Minnesota has been interrupted as schools have been forced to close or go virtual, as people live in fear or living in their homes or going to work. I just want to point out as well that polls show that even amidst all the stuff that's happening, even after the deletion happened, that people are still in favor of ICE. Like, have gone up. Yeah. Still like +3 or something like that. Minnesotans are organized and activated to respond to this violence. Do none of these people work? Like, how do you get off so much work? This directory of places to donate all comes from activists on the ground, plugged into the situation. Everything is vetted with the exception of individual GoFundMes. Not everyone is in our networks, and we don't want to pick and choose who is worthy to help. Overwhelmed by the amount of listings, donate to this. So where's all that money going? Is it going to these rioters? These agitators? Dude, support frontline organizers demanding justice and shutting down ICE in Minnesota. Almost $500,000 raised. It probably is by this point. Wow. Wow. So these people, this money is allegedly going to them, which is the Tending the Soil, which was what we were talking about before, has raised $500,000. Hold on a second. Let me see. I want to see how much they've raised so far. Did they take it down? I don't even see it on there. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. I want to see how much money they've raised so far. It might have got taken down. Actually, it's a pretty terrible website, just to let you know. Like, the workarounds of finding stuff is just, forget it. I can't find it. Not even gonna bother. What a terrible website. You go to the web, try to go to the website right now, some of you, and let me know if that thing is built well. Anyways, we got that for you. $500,000 probably. Okay, community organizing, fundraising, co-director, movement leadership. Wow. This is just crazy. Let's see what people are saying in the chat here. Download yourself, consider subscribing. Donors, don't bother deleting social media profiles. I've been cached, screenshots them all. Excellent work. They're getting a different version of the spreadsheet. Interesting. Man. Wild stuff going on there, huh? But don't worry, January 6th, you guys, remember that. January 6th, you're all Nazis, you're all insurrectionists, you're all threats to this country, all sorts of stuff. Jeez. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And it's only going to get crazier. I don't see this going anywhere. And I hope Trump doesn't back down, by the way. I hope he doesn't. This is what Americans voted for. This is what Americans wanted. And we don't want you to back down. I actually want them to go harder. I want more people to be apprehended and arrested. And it would be if Trump actually arrested people that were doing silly stuff, like putting themselves in between law enforcement. Like, I mean, I know why this is happening. Like stuff like this, where they have, what a bunch of idiots, right? Putting freaking trash cans around the area. By the way, this is all taxpayer funded. All these trash cans, this whole area is completely littered now. Yeah, all should be arrested. Some of these people, not all of them, not every single one. But you know why they don't? It's because law enforcement's being told to stand down. When you're a Democrat, you pick and choose what you get to enforce and not enforce. It didn't always used to be that way, by the way. You get to pick and choose, like a buffet, what laws you want to enforce and not enforce. It doesn't work that way, by the way. Yeah, you don't get to pick and choose what you want to enforce, not to enforce. You enforce it all. You enforce it all. I bring this up because we have this old video of good old Barack Obama. And as I mentioned, the left has only gone further left. If you would change his voice and his image here and actually just do AI where Donald Trump is saying this, there would be no difference. So let's just see what good old Barack used to say a decade ago.
You know, I'm the president of the United States. I'm not the emperor of the United States. My job is to execute laws that are passed. And Congress right now has not changed what I consider to be a broken immigration system. And what that means is that we have certain obligations to enforce the laws that are in place, even if we think that in many cases the results may be tragic. There are going to be some stories that break our hearts. And more importantly, we're going to continue to have an economy that is stifled by a really inefficient system where not only are we deporting folks, but we also have a legal immigration system that is so bottlenecked that it forces sometimes people into the illegal system. You know, I'm the president of the United States. I'm not.
Shocker. By the way, I lived in 2013. Was there. Yep. I was actually still in college when this happened. Not a peep. Not a peep. Yep, I didn't see any riots. I didn't see any protests. I didn't see anybody pissed about Obama saying this. Nothing. It's all fake, you guys. It's a sad reality about a lot of things that we see in our life nowadays. It's all fake. I'm not saying the individual got deleted over the weekend's fake. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is all funded. Everything is funded. It's coming from foreign money. It's coming from people like George Soros. It is all fake. You stop the funding, you don't see any of this stuff. You won't see nothing. Why? Because most of America agrees with Donald Trump. Most of America doesn't want all these illegals here. Most of America doesn't think that it's right to go after ICE or, federal law enforcement or even local law enforcement. Most Americans don't think. What you're seeing and what the media is covering, making it seem like this is such a big deal. By the way, small pockets. Think about how big Minnesota is. This is like somebody's Christmas dinner. It's not a big, what they're trying to make it seem like it's big, like, oh, they got a huge movement. No. These are like small pockets of people that are mentally ill taking to the streets. And odds are, because they're mentally ill, your taxpayer dollars are going towards their lifestyle, most likely. I would expect a lot of them are single because, dude, can you imagine coming home and listening to that stuff every single day? Because it doesn't stop outside them blowing their whistle, right, and screaming and yelling at cars going by. Right, like they're dogs. You know that these suburban white women are going to their husbands if they have one at home. And that dude worked all day, probably the only one working in the family so that she can go out and protest Trump and ICE all day. Dude's doing back-breaking work, probably doing roofing out there in negative 32 weather. And that dude has to come home and listen to that shit. You wouldn't believe it, Jim. The goddamn Trump ICE supporters are doing this shit. They're going after illegals. Fuck Trump. I can't. Right? You have to hear that day in and day out. Because it doesn't just stop on the streets. She's coming home all riled up and she has to tell you every freaking thing about it. That's who we need to pray for after the show, is those men. Granted, they put themselves in that situation by dating and marrying a psycho, but God. Or, let's go to the extreme, right? These people are lesbians too or whatever. And I don't throw any shade at gay people. I got a lot of friends that are gay. I don't care. It's not my life. I think you're sinning, but it ain't my life. And, they coming home and just laying it all on the table on them again. Cheeto, man, he's so bad, blah, blah, blah. And then if you bring up the whole other side, like, yeah, but Jimmy, you voted for Obama that was doing the exact same thing a decade ago. You loved it then. You Trump supporter now? You like Trump, you bigot, you Nazi? Right? And then they start just unloading on you, your loved one. These people are unwell. They are, I know I'm preaching to the choir. They are unwell, man. They need some help. And I don't think there's no drug out there that's going to fix it, folks. I really do believe this. I think the only thing that would fix these people is getting closer to Christ. There's not a drug. I don't think there's any psychiatric help that will get these people to realize I think the only thing that's going to settle these people down and maybe fix it is getting involved in the scriptures, getting back in church and getting right with God. That's it. Now, is that going to happen for them? No, because you have to want that. But God does say, if you seek him, he will be found. You are the one that has to go find him. He'll put things in front of you that will hopefully lead you like a breadcrumb trail to him. Sometimes it will be the whole loaf. You still won't get it. But I firmly do believe that. I think there's one answer here, and it's Christ. And it's a very sad thing that these people say they believe in Christ, they believe in God, all these things. Look, I'm a sinful man. I'm not perfect. But I'm also not out there screaming at people, blowing whistles and doing some crazy stuff in the streets. But they need to get right with God. And I think that's the only answer. They could prescribe them all the drugs they want. They could put them in mental institutions, put them in padded walls where they're jumping around, just still screaming, blowing their stupid ass whistle while they're jumping around. I hate Trump, right? There's like 30 years down the road. Trump is dead and gone, right? Trump will be over 100. He'll be in the, be grave. And, guy's old. And they'll still be screaming about Trump, right? Right? It's like the kids growing up don't even know who Trump is anymore because they don't teach anything in the education system. And the only thing that's going to fix these people is Christ, folks. Is Christ. So Then they storm your church, Brad. Yep, that is correct. Hey, maybe it's a good thing. It's probably the only time that they'll get in the church is if they storm it. I guess at that point you start preaching louder, right? Start throwing some Bibles at them. Just slinging Bibles. Just maybe one will stick enough to their forehead where they'll walk out with it by accident. Or maybe it'll slip in their pocket. Who knows? The Lord works in mysterious ways. Alrighty, well, I got to go to work, folks. I hope you have a lovely week. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Bald Brad Show. If you're enjoying what you're hearing and listening, hit that follow button. We're always trying to grow here. Send this to your friends and family all over social media. We would love to get a little bit of help in promoting the show that way. And then lastly, if you go to baldbrad.com, we have a book, we have merchandise, we have news articles. Oh, geez, we got a donation tab. If the left can raise $500,000 from some psycho stuff, I think we could raise some money here on the donation tab for the Bald Brad Show. So baldbrad.com, donation tab's up at the top. I hope all of you have a lovely day. Pray for the left. Maybe they'll reach Christ. Who knows? But they need him. Appreciate you guys. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for all of us in the chat and just everybody out there that we can get some peace here on earth. And God, just live in peace. That's all we need. That being said, take care, Patriots.